We're now going to make a dark chocolate and raspberry cake. First of all, we're going to preheat the oven. So you need to turn the oven to 170 degrees, which is 150 degrees if you've got a fan oven, and gas mark 3. Get ready your cake tin. And here I've got one ready, which has been greased and bottom lined. And now we're going to start making the cake. So first of all, we've got 175 grams of stalk. And that goes in the bowl with 175 grams of caster sugar. And then that's going to be whisked until it becomes light and fluffy. This only takes about a minute maximum, just until the ingredients have come together and the colour changes from yellow to a light, fluffy mix. That's ready now. And now we're going to add our eggs. So I've got 4 eggs, and beat after each one, just probably about 20 to 30 seconds, just until the mixture comes together. And the second egg, beat that in as well. Now you may find after the second egg, once you add the third, the mixture sometimes can curdle a little. And if that happens, let me just add the third egg. You can then also add a tablespoon of plain flour. So mix those together. At this stage you're still whisking in more air until it's nice and smooth. Okay, that's finished. Now we're going to add 225 grams of self-raising flour, sieve that in. And sieving just gets rid of any little lumps and also incorporates a bit more air. And then finally, just the rest of the plain flour that you have left over. And then to add a really nice flavour, we've got some juice of 1 orange and some orange zest. So I'm just going to mix those together, and when everything's incorporated and the mixture is nice and smooth, it's ready. So put that into your prepared tin. And then just with a spatula, just gently level the mix. And now it's ready to go in the oven. And that will take about just over an hour and 10 minutes. And now we're going to make the syrup. And this is very quick to do. All it is juice of 2 clementines or 1 orange. And it goes into the saucepan with about 20 grams of sugar. And all you need to do is make sure first of all the sugar is completely melted. And then as soon as it's melted, you can then turn the heat up and bring the mix to the boil. So the syrup's now ready to go. And for the cake, we just need to make a few little holes with a fine skewer. So just use that to make some holes in the cake. And then we're going to just spoon the syrup over the cake. Just make it as even as you possibly can. And now that will just soak into the cake completely because it's still nice and warm. And we're just going to leave it now to get completely cold before we start the icing. I'm now going to make the icing for the cake. And for this, I've got 125 grams of stalk margarine. Put that in the mixing bowl with the zest of a clementine to give a really nice flavour. And then we're just going to sieve in a little of the icing sugar. Just sieve it in a little at a time with the cocoa powder. And just mix that in. And now you can see it's becoming really nice and smooth and ready to ice the cake. Okay, the icing is ready now. And I've got a nice cold cake ready over here to finish off. So we're now going to cut this cake in half horizontally. So you need a nice big serrated knife for this, and just cut through, and then just carefully place the top tier to the side. And now I've got 2 tablespoons of jam. This is raspberry, but any jam you like. And we're just going to spread this over the cut cake. To the edge, like so. And then on top of that, we're going to put a couple of tablespoons of the icing. And just spread that over. Just roughly. It's just to give a bit of flavour. It goes really well with the jam. And then when that's done, carefully get the top layer and sandwich the cake together, like so. Now we're going to decorate the edge. So use about half the chocolate icing. It's always easier to do the sides first. Doesn't have to be too smooth because you're going to be covering this with the chocolate cigarillos. Use these chocolate cigarillos, which have been cut to size. They're just slightly over the top of the height of the cake, and then you gradually, it does take a bit of time, just carry on until you finish the whole of the sides. And now I've got some fresh raspberries, which I'm just going to use. Oh no, first of all, we've got to add the rest of the icing. And I'm going to put all of this on the top of the cake. Spread this over. It doesn't have to be smooth because you're going to cover it with the raspberries, but make sure the cake is completely covered. And now just place the raspberries over the top. If you don't have raspberries, you can use strawberries. That takes a bit of time, so I've already got one cake that I prepared earlier. And as you can see, it looks absolutely lovely.